TABOR is the acronym, which stands for the Taxpayer Bill of Rights. You probably know TABOR more for the refunds that it provides you when the state collects too much money. But Democrats in the state legislature prefer if you remember that it limits how much the state can keep and spend. TABOR is the word Democrats use to describe why the state had to cut $1 billion in spending this year.
You have seen so many Democrats come out and say this is a problem.
Democratic State Representative Sean Camacho sponsored a resolution to get the state to file a lawsuit to get a judge to rule TABOR unconstitutional.
It is not happening.
That resolution will not get a vote by midnight, killing its chances with the legislative session ending Wednesday. So if TABOR is the problem for Democrats, why do Democrats, who control the state legislature, struggle to do something about TABOR?
There have been 2 different measures referred to the voters in the last 6 years asking to retain revenue to use on these things, and voters have said no twice.
Kennedy, a former state lawmaker, is referring to a ballot issue in 2019 and another in 2023 that would have altered how the state can keep money at the expense of TABOR refunds. Voters said no both times. Kennedy, who is now CEO of the left-leaning Bell Policy Center, can speak more freely about what's holding Democrats back from other attempts.
It's the fear of the political consequences that perhaps has slowed down some of their efforts. I think that the right answer to this problem is not at this time a complete repeal of TABOR. I think the right answer is to refer a question to the voters and ask them to raise taxes on the wealthiest Coloradans so that we can invest in opportunity for everybody else.
The Colorado Fiscal Institute in 2020 wanted to ask voters to tweak TABOR by decreasing the income tax on those making less than $250,000 and increasing it on people earning more than that. COVID stopped the effort before it made the ballot. Quick plea for help. If you know how to use visuals for TABOR stories, I will take your input, please. One thing, any change to TABOR would require a vote of the people. So I don't want to make it seem like state lawmakers could do this all on their own, though this resolution that's not going anywhere would have gone to the courts to say that TABOR was unconstitutional, then you could have bypassed voters. But if there's any change to tax structure, that, Kim and Sam, would have to go to voters first.
Okay, well, we know that you were on paternity leave for a good part of this session, which was probably a good thing for you, Marshall.
Consulted the calendar and said, when can I avoid the legislative session? Perfect.
But this means things are wrapping up pretty soon. I mean, they got to get it, whatever else they need to get done really soon.
Right. There's that one issue with unions and businesses I know that was percolating today at the Capitol that would change how many votes would be required for unions to become unionized, basically. And I know businesses were against this. It seems like that bill is going to end up on the governor's desk, and the governor has already threatened to veto that unless it was appreciated by business community more than it is right now. I know there was some negotiating going on with that specific legislation today. I saw some people from the business community, along with the state lawmakers, involved in that bill, running around the hallways as I was doing interviews for this story. And clearly, if this thing about TABOR, if this doesn't get a vote by midnight, it cannot finish the process. You need 3 days to go in the House and the Senate, and then to the, well, actually, this wouldn't have to go to the governor, but the House and the Senate to get done. It takes 3 days for something like that to happen. And so the story I just finished has to have some action by midnight, or it's impossible for it to move forward.
Okay, well, I'm sure they're all celebrating that you're back. And in a way, this is like watching the last 5 minutes of a game, right? You're in the 4th quarter.
Oh, yeah.
Checking in, so it's all good.
Bypass it all, miss all the timeouts, come here for the final shot. Sure, why not?
That's all good. All right, thanks, Marshall.